Welcome to the Man of Honor podcast. My name is Corey, your host, and today I'm just replying a lady that's contacted me on Instagram. She was very upset with the last episode, and the thing she was upset about was the fact that I am training men not to make their wives or partners feel beautiful, and that I should be ashamed of myself, obviously, and stuff like that. And I tried to explain myself that I wasn't saying that, and I totally believe in people being romantic or a partner being romantic. And again, I did mention that it's not a man's responsibility to do all of that. I think women should take responsibility of that as well. So in terms of seduction, it should be a mutual thing that you both do, contribute towards in order to be having a deeper connection and even a greater experience. I think when there's always this preconceived idea of that the male has to carry the load of in terms of seduction and attraction and validation, and there's so much that goes into it that women desire men to do, that they exempt themselves, and then they wonder why it's not going well, and they wonder why the man is cheating, because usually when the men cheat, is actually sex is a byproduct. It's the fact that they are feeling desired by somebody else. The women just completely neglect the whole thing of them showing desire and actually wanting to be part of the seduction process, and in terms of being part of it, contribution. And obviously the issue with a lot of women actually doing that is because they carry a lot of shame, and the shame is to do with sex, which is usually starts from the period when parents are trying to protect the woman from actually being sexually assaulted from a young age. So how you dress, how you sit when you're wearing a dress and stuff like that. You're introduced to sex pretty quickly. So even though they're not talking about sex directly, but there's certain things that you're aware of that are sexually related, that you now get shamed, and as you get older, you get to know about what is a slut, and there's this big thing about not being a slut, and and then how you save yourself as a sex. And so there's all these things that are weaved within our society that really puts a lot of shame on women, and not just on the sex side of things, even just on consumer culture. So when it comes to selling products, they do the same. So when you're trying to buy a dress and a skirt, the models, the way they look, and the way they talk about women's weight and just body and body shaming and stuff like that. There's a lot of that is subconsciously put out there and gets you as a consumer to go and buy more stuff in order to make yourself feel good. So they almost make you think that you're shit on the inside. In order for you to feel good, you have to buy this stuff, and once you buy this stuff, then you're going to feel good. So coming from that standpoint, again, when it comes to a relationship, I think there's this thing where everybody talks about 50-50. I actually hate that statement. When you get into a relationship, you have to be both 100. So you're in more contribution. So if your cup is overflowing, then you're in contribution. If your cup is empty, when you come into a relationship, you are seeking something. You need to get something in order to get that validation. And because you're solely dependent on a human being to give you validation, human beings are prone to let you down, because we are not consistent. We are emotional, and we change from day to day, and things affect it. So if you depend on a person, you're now setting yourself up to fail. And this is what I was trying to say, that the woman herself has to actually start working on herself. So in terms of her body and how she sees herself, her self-esteem. And it's not about her having the perfect body. It's her being happy where she's at, and then working towards what she thinks is perfect. But at the same time, she has to be happy with where she's at. And that's what I was trying to say, that it's not a responsibility for the men to make her feel that way. She has to seek out to make that for herself. And when she does, then she gets into a position where she can actually start contributing into the relationship, and they can have a deeper connection in terms of sex, and even a deeper connection in terms of intimacy as well, because there is no secrets. And for you to actually get to that point, you actually have to be vulnerable and share the things that make you feel afraid, and that's where you get to connect even in a deeper way. So I hope this is going to answer to this lady, because I said to her, I'm going to make a podcast episode and answer this and try and clarify. By no means, men, you should stop doing romantic things. You should. It's part of it. And I said, you have to do some of those things in order to contribute in building a self-esteem. And I think you validating her by doing romantic things and romantic gestures, it does help. But it's just contributing towards her own journey of actually self-discovery, in terms of her being full and fulfilled, and stuff like that. So everybody's on their own journey, and it's not just a responsibility for women, but it's for both parties, that you have to get to 100% by yourself in order to be in the contribution side of things in terms of a relationship. So thank you very much for listening, and I hope that answers for our lady listeners. Thank you very much for listening, and by no means this is a podcast or a support group that is teaching men how to be fuck boys, or disrespectful towards women or anything like that. Actually teaching men how to build connection and actually have long-lasting relationships that are of substance, none of this wishy-washy stuff that's been happening in society right now. So now we're going to second lockdown in England. It's going to become even more important, because a lot of people usually have relationship on a surface level, and this is the reason why lockdown has been horrible for many marriages and partners. And unless you start learning how to go deeper within your relationship, and again, you can only go deeper if you are working on yourself. So this is the main important ingredient of it, that you have to be happy with yourself in order to make somebody else feel happy. If you are not happy and you want expecting somebody else to make you feel happy, that person is going to let you down, and nobody can be that consistent. And there's so much pressure on the other person for them to be the thing that gives you happiness. So much pressure. It actually turns them, it turns it into a chore. It's not an enjoyment. So I'm not ranting, so I'm sorry for that. So thank you very much for listening. If you want to learn more, go and join the Men of Fauna Facebook group. That's for men. Ladies, unfortunately, you're not allowed to join. And thank you very much. What's coming up is the Let's Make Bedrooms Great Again is coming soon, so I'm really excited about that. So look out for that, and if you've got any questions, come to my Instagram and I'll be answer some more questions. So thank you very much for listening, guys, and I'll be seeing you soon.